Welcome, brothers. I'm Johnny. I invite you to join me on this journey of the awakened masculine. Realize your potential and remember who you are. In this Ep.1, I'm going to start getting into some of the topics that I want to discuss on this channel. Although this channel is very much about finding your masculinity, it can be very useful to look at our relationships, because it is my understanding that our relationships provide a mirror for our own internal struggles and internal issues. Now, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is going to be very challenging and confronting for a lot of men, but I want you to bear with me, even if you don't agree with or believe in what I'm saying. Just bear with me, because quite often what triggers us is what we most need to look at. If anything that I'm saying in this video triggers you, then you need to really sit with that. That trigger will usually be pointing to something bigger. As I said in my last video, there's a real crisis going on for men at the moment. Roughly 45% of marriages in the UK end in divorce. A lot of people aren't even getting married anymore. Marriage is generally on the decline. I believe that there is a crisis going on. Why are all these people breaking up? Why are all these marriages ending? And I want to put forward an idea that is going to be very challenging. So this crisis is currently playing out in millions of homes, millions of relationships. It's a silent crisis because a lot of people don't even realize that it's happening. Most men believe the problems in their relationship are due to their partner. I'm sure a lot of you will be able to relate with me. If only my partner was less controlling. If only my partner was less naggy. If only she was more horny and wanted to have sex with me more. Wouldn't sex just solve everything? It'd be so much easier, wouldn't it? If your partner wanted to have sex with you every day. This concept of blaming external factors on the problems in your relationship, this is a victim mentality. And I believe that if we want to really look at the problems in our relationships, we first need to look at the problems in ourselves. So we've got these two archetypes. We have the nice guy. This term was coined by Robert Glover in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. I suggest you read it if you can relate to anything you hear me say. And the nice guy, on the surface, looks like he's doing everything right. He's helpful around the house. Maybe he does the cooking. Maybe he does the cleaning. He helps out with the kids. He earns the money. He holds down a good job to look after his family. The problem with this nice guy, who looks like he's doing everything right on the surface, that everything he is doing is conditional. He's trying to earn something out of it, essentially transactional. If I do X, Y, and Z, then my partner will approve of me. Hopefully she'll want to have sex with me. Now, this is a covert contract because it is a contract that the nice guy has set up in his mind with his partner without her knowledge. If you spend all your time doing things to try and please your woman, to try and gain her approval, to try and make her happy, she's going to sense that, okay? Women are amazingly sensitive beings, and she will be able to sense when you're doing something to get something from her. To her, that is a very unattractive thing, and this is why the nice guy will always fail to get more sex and more intimacy and more love from his woman, because the more he does, the more he gives, the more he loses his identity, the more he gives up his hobbies or stops seeing his friends, stops speaking out for what he really wants. He's diminishing himself. Not only that, but he's becoming less and less attractive to his partner. So that's the nice guy. You may be able to relate to some of that. There's another archetype which I want to name, and this is the checked out man. These aren't necessarily two different men. They could be the same man on different stages of his journey. So the checked out man, he's numbing himself. He's coming home from work. Maybe he's having a beer. Maybe he's watching TV. Maybe he's on his phone. All of these things that he might be doing, they're all numbing. They're all numbing practices. Obviously, you can include any kind of drug use in this. Weed, smoking, cocaine, all of these things used regularly. They're all numbing. They're all taking us away from our own emotions and cutting us out from our emotional world. The checked out man is also slowly becoming less and less attractive to his woman, because she can sense that he's not present. He's not present with her, he's not present with the kids, he's not leading. He's not leading the family. And she knows this. She knows he's wasting his potential. Once again, he is going to become less and less attractive to her. Now, I'm intimately aware of both of these archetypes because I have lived them at various times in my life. These are very difficult places to be for a man, but they're also not helping our relationships. I did this exact thing myself. I tried to be the perfect husband, the perfect father. The more I gave away of myself, and the less attracted to me my wife became. And the resentment just became unbearable because I felt like I was giving myself to her. I wanted something in return. I wanted sex, I wanted intimacy, I wanted love and approval, but it never came. And so the resentment just became unbearable. Now, these patterns of behavior can often start even before we're born. Maybe our fathers or grandfathers used these same behaviors to either numb themselves out or by trying to please their partner. I'm not blaming men. Most of the last few generations have been raised by women, single mothers or fathers who've been emotionally unavailable or not even present in the home, maybe because they've been working. Most fathers spend most of their time working away from their families. We have these multiple generations of men who've been raised by women or female teachers. We have more female teachers in schools now. Men have been taught to please women. All these men have been taught to seek women's approval because they've been trained by women to do that. It's no surprise that we now have multiple generations of men who are trying to seek approval from women in order to feel okay with themselves. Most men who are in relationships believe that their partner is the problem. And actually, what I understand about this is that is very rarely the case. It's almost always a case of a man not being able to deal with his wife's emotions. And again, this is no surprise because most men can't deal with their own emotions. That may be challenging to hear, but it's also very true. In our culture, men are often seen as weak if they display emotion. But it is not weakness to show your emotions. it is actually strength. It takes more strength to sit with your uncomfortable emotions than it does to go and grab a beer or a joint or a phone and lose yourself and numb yourself out in the process. Women are far more emotionally fluent than men are. They need to feel a man's firm presence, especially when they're losing it emotionally. And there's something very special about the feminine. Her emotional storms and her attacks, which feel like they're aimed at you, they are actually a way that she is testing you. She is showing you your weak spots. If she's triggering you, that's your weak spot. And if you can't stand firm in her emotional storm without trying to argue, without trying to defend yourself, without trying to justify yourself or your actions, she will sense that you're not capable of holding her emotions. When I finally stopped fighting my wife's emotions and actually witnessed and experienced them for what they are, everything in my relationship changed. It was as simple as that. So if this unconscious behavior has been passed down from previous generations, when we are finally able to fix these wounds, we're not only helping ourselves and our partners and our families, but we're also helping the generations to come. This is important work and it shouldn't be taken lightly. So, what do you do with all of this? I'm not going to pretend that it's easy. This is long, hard work that takes years of practice, it takes years of commitment and discipline. It is going to be a very challenging process. But if you're willing to stick it out, what is on the other side when you do get through this work is completely life-changing. Not only will your relationship change in the most amazing ways, but you will become more confident and clearer in your mind, and you'll become more sure of yourself. You'll know where you need to go and what you need to do. And if you get it right, your woman will be there with you all the way. That aliveness and sense of purpose that you had when you were a young man, that can all come back, because when you really show up, it brings an amazing sense of confidence. And I think we could all do with a bit of that. So that sense of purpose, that sense of aliveness, it's not gone. It's just been buried under all the numbing, under all the covert contracts, the resentment. You can still reclaim that. And believe me, it is 100% worth it. Your relationship can become one of the most extraordinary things in your life. Your sex life will improve. Your connection to your partner and your children will improve. One important thing to remember is that we have to do this work for ourselves. We're not doing it for anyone else. We're not even doing it for our woman. We're doing it for ourselves. And that is an important distinction. Because if our partner gets any sense that we're doing things to get her approval or to get more sex, that will not work. She will be able to sense that, and it'll all be for nothing. So let me know if you recognise yourself in any of this, if there was anything that resonated with you. Before I go, I want to ask you a question. What are you blaming in your relationship right now? Maybe you're not even in a relationship right now, but maybe you were in a relationship. Maybe you're about to start a new relationship. What have you been blaming the problems in your relationship on? Is it money? Is it lack of sex? Is it that she's too controlling? These are all external factors. They all have everything to do with what is going on inside you. So if you're looking for things that are outside you to blame for the problems in your relationship, then you're always going to stay stuck. Because those problems outside you, you need to look inward. And that is where you'll find the true source of your power. Keep showing up, brothers. Realize your potential and remember who you are.